Hello, my friends. Good morning. On this lovely, lovely Thursday, I'm going to be with you for the next, maybe hour and 15 minutes. And I hope you enjoy it. My thoughts are, first, I want to let you know that your life matters. Yes, your life matters. Today, we're going to be talking about woke, because there seems to be a question as to what woke means. And I want to make sure that all of you get the lowdown and our understanding of the importance of being woke, but the right meaning, not the wrong meaning, because, well, it's very important. And unfortunately, that young lady over there, not the black one, but the one over there, the white one, she got in a little bit of trouble when asked to define it, because her definition simply didn't fulfill the needs of all those who are truly woke. And so today, we're going to do our best to come up with a definition. Oh, and please give generously to the SPCA. Is that what it is? Special? Something like that. I don't know. Anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time. I think it's time that we play the intro. Johnny, would you do us the honor, please? Thank you. Johnny, play the fucking intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, it is that time, and I might need some of this today. Welcome. Hi. Hello there. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. No, I'm not going to talk like that the entire show, because that would probably hurt my soul. But anyway, it is Thursday, the 16th of March, 2023. Oh, I forgot to talk about the Ides of March yesterday. Well, there's things that happen on the Ides of March. Does this sound really loud to you? Can't tell. Oh, maybe I should go back. I should probably put some more music on, because this is the intro. Nah, I'm not going to put music on. Anyway, hi. So yesterday was the Ides of March, and I'm sure somebody got stabbed or something, because, every day something like that happens. But today we're going to talk about this little internet dust up, because, the lefties and wokies and everyone else, that those people. And I don't mean those people like, black people. I mean, look, when I think of woke, the first thing I think of is Why are my headphones backwards? Some blue-haired white woman. That's who I think of first when I think of woke. So, it's not, some of the people are saying, oh, saying woke, that means it's just a new word for the N-word, right? No, it's not. And nobody who uses it, at least from the conservative angles, uses it that way. But there is a history of the word. There's an etymology of the usage of the word. And so we're going to talk about that today, because lots of people are talking about it because Bethany Mandel, conservative writer, she's an opinion writer, columnist, whatever. She was on an interview and someone, can you define? Let's make sure we're on the same page. I want you to define the word. Well, in fact, I'll show you the clip. I won't even go into it. We'll explain it then. But before we do that, let's say good morning to everybody, because that's what I do. I try to say hi to the people who come to my chat, and eventually, someday I kind of hope there's too many people to do that every day, but at least you guys who've been here forever, I will always say hi to you because, you are the people who've made me do this. You made me do it. I can't help it. You make it worthwhile, actually, and I appreciate those of you who come back over and over, and some of you, there's a couple of you have been here since the first couple of weeks. It's amazing that you still put up with my nonsense. But anyway, over on Rumble, first in chat is our friend Avocado Diablo, who gets the bell. And I never understand. Okay, this morning, right? I'm setting up my stream, and I set up the YouTube stream first. You always set that one up first, then I set up the Rumble stream. I set them simultaneously, but I always start the YouTube one first. I start the Rumble one second. And I set up the stream, and I click the button. The chat comes up. I'm starting to type good morning in the chat, and Avocado Diablo is already in there. I'm like, how the hell do you even do that? How do you beat the person who sets up the show into the chat? So that's very good. Of course, so anyway, very nice. And also, and then he beat me on Rumble because I waited a few minutes before I even chatted in the Rumble chat. Anyway, you get the bell in the Rumble chat. Okay. Also, good morning to Mike Savage. TC's over on Rumble. Simon Wolfwood is over there. Tall Person's over there. Nice to see all of you using Rumble. I appreciate it. I still haven't quite figured out who all these people are who watch this show on Rumble. In fact, if you watch, okay, here, let me start this today. And I'm going to say this probably every day for the next few days. If you watch this show on Rumble, okay, if you hear my voice right now, whether you're watching live or the replay, would you do me a favor over the next week? Let's say over the next week, between this and next Friday. Okay, we'll go a week and a day. Would you please just put a hi, H-I, in the comment section? Or you can write something in the comment section, but in the Rumble comment section, okay? Just say hi. Because I want to figure out who all these people are watching on Rumble, even if you don't watch the whole show. If you watch 10 seconds of me talking, if you get this far, okay, if you get this far in the show, just say hi in the chat on Rumble, because I want to figure out who's watching, because there's hundreds of people watching it at some time during the day, and I'm just, it surprises me a little bit, but it's also, I appreciate it, because, and most people are watching replay, apparently. So anyway, thank you for doing that. And then on YouTube, first in the chat, of course, is Avocado Diablo, who's going to continue to get the bell. And nicely done, sir. Also, good morning to our friend Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost. That'd be Tyler Alexander. Good morning also to Tyler F., Man Squatch, Mike Savage, Blarg. Higgs in the house from the home base in Florida. Good morning also to TC, Simon Wolfwood, James Colley's in the house. What's up, sir? Good morning also to Lord Stanhope is here, Simic Magic, Rotten Corpse, what's up? Good morning, Somnambule Nation. Good morning to Fake News Expert and Thomas Ledwig. Nice to have you back again. Also, good morning to who am I missing here? I'm scrolling slowly so I don't miss anybody. I think I got everybody. This is y'all chatting up a storm here. Tall Person's in the chat over on YouTube also. Nice to see you in both chats. And is that everybody? I think it is. If I missed you, just say hi and I'll say hi again. Anyway, also we have our first sponsor today. GunFox61 is here somewhere. And here it is. And also the first sponsor today. Dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar. Thank you, GunFox61. And GunFox61, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Yay! All right. dropping some news links. And then just dropped another Hamilton in the tip jar. Thank you, GunFox61, with another news article, which I will get to in a moment. Oh, boy. Anyway, and also good morning to Rod Line. I see you, sir. I see you there. All right. All right, what's what we're going to do? I'm going to do the news, then I'm going to do the articles that GunFox sent me. Well, am I going to... GunFox? I'm just curious. Are these news items going to break me? Do I take a chance on doing these news items first? Because sometimes, GunFox, the stories GunFox sends me, have a tendency to raise my blood pressure. And so, oh my God, what? Oh, good Lord. Okay, anyway. So, all right. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, and another one. GunFox 61 with another Hamilton to the tip jar. My goodness, sir. You are so gracious. Thank you. It's gonna be hard to beat today, guys. If anyone wants to be superstar sounds of the day, and I don't expect, I appreciate that so much. All right. Oh, and also thank you, tall person, dropping a donation in the Rumble Rants, who says, "Oh, it's one of those days." Thank you for sponsoring the show, tall person, who says, "Happy Oranges and Lemons Day." Well, first, thank you. I appreciate that. Happy Oranges and Lemons Day. That's the day we're celebrating today. Is that from the Florida Citrus Growers Association or something like that? I know they grow some oranges in California, but I know Florida does a lot more citrus than California. I'm just curious, but anyway, well, thank you. It's always good to know what holiday is, and if you are into oranges and lemons, here's to you. By the way, again, your life matters. These cups are sold on somewhere in the if you go on my Streamlabs link, I think there's a link to my store that you can get these Your Lives Matters cups and shirts and stuff. I just thought I think it's appropriate. Anyway, all right, okay, I'm going to start blind here. I'm going to start with the articles that GunFox sent me. Oh God, please Lord, give me strength. Oh, you know what? Is this might be the same article that I already have up here. Except someone else, let's see. Some news. Hang on a minute. Oh, what happened to it? I had this article already. Is it here? So okay, here's the first story that GunFox gave me. And I already had this. GunFox, you and I are on the same page. This is about how the House Democrats anoint, as Miranda Devine says, so-called member of Congress to sabotage hearings and trash whistleblowers. So if you're not familiar with, what's her name? Is it Stacey Plaskett? Stacey Plaskett is I wouldn't say she's not necessarily a member of House of Representatives. She's what would you call it? Well, there's a name for it, but she's a representative from the U.S. Virgin Islands, so she can't vote on anything. But because she's the ranking member on one of the committees, she's been around the longest, she ends up being the ranking member on one of the committees. And so this is an article from Miranda Devine at the New York Post. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite, by the way.
That's right.
Nice to see you. Now the Democrats are in the minority in the House and unable to abuse their power as easily as they have for the last 2 years. They are resorting to shameless lies and sabotage oversight hearings and trash whistleblowers and other inconvenient witnesses. As the queen of this disinformation operation, they have anointed a little-known Democrat named Stacey Plaskett. Now, Plaskett's favorite adjective is, quote, so-called. So, like when she described Matt Taibbi as a so-called journalist. Remember we were looking at those clips from when the the two Twitter files guys were in the committee hearing, and she called him a so-called journalist. And it's like, well, you're a so-called member of Congress. Yatch. Anyway, and since she is a so-called member of Congress, she even writes that in the article. She does not have voting rights as the at-large delegate. Oh, that's the name. She's the delegate for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Yet she is a ranking member of the Select Subcommittee on Weaponization of the federal government. The first time a non-voting delegate has occupied such a lofty post. Fresh from besmirching two independent journalists, Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger, as so-called journalists who endanger people's lives by exposing Twitter's censorship regime, Plaskett and her colleagues in Dirty Work, New York Democratic Representative Jerry Nadler, a.k.a. the Penguin, are attacking FBI whistleblowers. So now these, well, here, I'll just read it because I don't have to go into detail. In a 316-page unauthorized report, what did I say, unauthorized? Unauthorized. Good morning, Crackshot. I see you. And Rick Ashbringer's in the house. In a 316-page unauthorized report full of falsehoods and deceptively edited quotes from heroic FBI agent Steve Friend's confidential testimony to the committee last month, Plaskett and Nadler, the Penguin, derided him as a, quote, so-called whistleblower. Perfect timing for Rachel Maddow's dildo to drop in. Hello there. Good morning. They lied about the status of his whistleblower complaint to the DOJ Inspector General, violated his confidentiality by leaking cherry-picked portions of his testimony to the media, and then falsely portrayed him as being a kook in the pay of far-right Trump operatives. Friend, who first revealed his whistleblower complaint in the Post last year, sacrificed a career he loved as a respected member of the FBI's Special Weapons and Tactics team in Florida to do the right thing. He exposed the ugly truth about a hyper-politicized bureau cooking the books to exaggerate the threat of domestic terrorism and using an overzealous January 6th investigation to persecute conservatives and violate their constitutional rights, which has clearly been a problem. Good morning, Jay Pylon. He stood against a two-tiered system of justice in which Antifa revolutionaries commit domestic terrorism with impunity while the FBI raids pro-life groups and traditional Catholics who celebrate the Latin Mass. For his trouble, Friend and his fellow FBI whistleblowers have been traduced by Democrats, smeared and whatever, in Congress, whose slimy deceptions were uncritically amplified by the media, which is 100% on the Democrat side. Well, except for a couple half-ass exceptions like Fox News or whatever. Anyway, the central allegation against Friend was that the Inspector General had dismissed his whistleblower claim. And that is not just true, it's a lie.
Why the fuck you lying?
The IG confirmed this week that the investigation is ongoing and that Friend will be interviewed soon. This admission was prompted by Friend's lawyers at whistleblower protection organization Empower Oversight. After the Democrat smear sheet was published, Empower President Tristan Levitt wrote to the Inspector General on March 6th, asking that he set the record straight because the silence of his office was being hijacked by partisans and their media allies. Go ahead, this is kind of redundant. Partisans and media allies. To leave a false impression with the public, all in the service of undermining a whistleblower for political purposes. On Monday, Assistant Inspector General Sean O'Neill confirmed in an official letter that the investigation is ongoing. Quote, as we conveyed to your office in early February, we are interested in interviewing Mr. Friend about his allegations, which remain under assessment by our office. We will follow up shortly to schedule an interview. Of course, remember, this is the Biden Justice Department, so who knows if that's going to go anywhere. But anyway, at least they're not lying about it still. So far, the Washington Post and Rolling Stone have issued corrections about aspects of their coverage. Oh, I'm sure they put it in the back page or section 4D. But anyway, But the damage is done. The Plaskett and Nadler report was spun to try to discredit devastating testimony of Friend and other suspended FBI employees, not as whistleblowers, but as aggrieved employees who have trafficked in right-wing conspiracy theories. And received supposed financial support from a top ally of former President Donald J. Trump. So the insinuation is that they're sellouts and grifters. Truth is that Friend, a father of 2 small children, was suspended without pay as soon as he filed his whistleblower complaint. Then his wife lost her job under peculiar circumstances. Then the FBI refused him access to his firearms training records, which he needed to get a license to do security work in Florida. He was forced to resign in order to earn a living. FTG to the FBI? Okay, wait, right here. FTG, FBI. I know there's some good people who work at the FBI, but the leadership is broken. Let's just put it that way. So yes, during 5 months without a paycheck, he gratefully accepted $5,000 from a 501c charity, Fight with Cash, which was set up by former prosecutor, Trump advisor, and House Intelligence Committee Russiagate investigator Kash Patel, precisely to help FBI and other whistleblowers facing retaliation for speaking publicly. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Patel knows all too well, after his Russiagate travails, that it's very difficult story on the It's a very difficult story on the other side of the political fence. If you're useful to Democrats, the constellation of legal, financial, and narrative protections are provided to you on a silver platter. So and then she goes into detail about how, BLM rioters got bailed out at the urging of Vice President Kamala Harris, or FBI agents like Timothy Thibault, who allegedly suppressed Hunter Biden's laptop evidence and still got to resign with a full pension and be represented pro bono by a pricey Democratic law firm. It is despicable to portray an act of charity as if it were a form of corruption, but that's what's come to Washington. What it's come to in Washington, where Democrats are desperately scrambling to hide the abuses of the past 2 years, whether the dishonest narrative from their partisan January 6th committee, the cover-up for the Biden corruption story, or the censorship industrial complex. But, hey, we're starting to understand the truth, right? 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 Excuse me. But it's none of my business. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Good morning, Reese Donald. I see you. How you doing? All right, now another one. The second Hamilton article that Gunfox sent me. I'm clicking right now, Gunfox. Let's see where this is going. Oh, the page is gone. The second one you gave me is no longer available. What? Let me try this again. Gunfox, are you still here? This is what I get, Gunfox. Somebody didn't want me to talk about this one. They closed that one. Okay, we're gonna move on. And then the next one, let's see what this one is. Oh, doesn't make any sense. Rand Paul need. Oh, Rand Paul threatens Gary Peters with walkout, causing. Okay, here, we're going to see this one. I wasn't ready for this. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, the ranking member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, led a walkout during the markup of the Fire Grants and Safety Act after a tense exchange with Chairman Gary Peters, Democrat from Michigan. If this is the way you're going to run the committee, I would suggest that Republicans leave. I don't see why we should stick around if you're going to make up rules. Paul demanded Peters. Paul was angry over Peters using secondary amendments to effectively undo amendments he offered to the bill that reauthorizes the U.S. Fire Administration and the Assistance of Firefighters Grants Program and the Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response. Okay, that's called the SAFER Act Grant Program. Paul, who became the ranking member of the committee after moderate Senator Rob Portman retired last term, blasted Peters, saying, "This is the first time we've had a hearing since I've been here that I know of that we've gotten second-degree amendments on every one of our amendments." Okay, so they're changing And you, Gunfox, you can just put it in the chat, by the way, if you find it. Peters used additional amendments to undo. Well, here, let's just watch this little clip here from Forbes.
Says that fire houses that fired people for vaccines would not be eligible for grants. We request a recorded vote.
So what does Gary Peters do here? How long is this? Oh, this is 9 minutes long. We'll see what happens.
I also have a second-degree amendment, and I recognize myself to offer a second-degree amendment. My second-degree amendment would direct GAO to issue an audit of the U.S. Fire Administration within 3 years of enactment to continue improving control.
Point of inquiry.
Yes,
Oh, he was gonna ignore him, and his own aide said, "Hey, you have to answer this point of inquiry," because he heard it. There's no way he didn't hear it. This is Rand Paul right here, and this is Gary Peters right here. Not only was it in the microphone, but he's sitting right next to him. So Gary Peters knows he heard it. Now let's hear what Rand Paul's point of inquiry is.
We have what, unlimited second-degree amendments?
We have a second-degree amendment. I've recognized myself for my second-degree amendment.
Your second-degree amendment to a second-degree amendment. So
No, it's a second-degree amendment is being offered to the Scott Amendment.
No, I already called up a second-degree amendment to the Scott Amendment.
You can't call it up, Senator. Only the chair can call it up.
Well, I was recognized to call it up the same way we have recognized for every other amendment. You recognized me and I called it up.
You recognize to call up for a vote. Only the chair can do that.
Well, I was recognized to introduce an amendment, and I introduced a second-degree amendment. I don't know how you can stop that or decide that the rules are that you can do unlimited
chair can
second-degree.
call up the amendments as the chair sees fit, and my second-degree amendment is being called up.
After my second-degree amendment had already been called up. So you're
not
offering a third-degree amendment.
It had not been called up.
Well, sure you are.
I am offering an amendment to the Scott Amendment.
If this is the way you're going to run the committee, I would suggest that the Republicans leave. I don't see why we should stick around if you're going to make up the rules. I mean, you're going to offer a third-degree amendment?
Mr. Chairman, these are
Chair.
not. Senator Sinema.
Mr. Chair, might I humbly suggest that we can work through these procedural issues to take all of the votes. And I would just suggest we all take a couple minutes, lower the temperature, and just...
Oh, Kristen Sinema being the sage and wise one of the group.
To turn this committee hearing into a partisan, ugly place like we've seen in other committees. We don't need to do that.
This is the first time we've had a hearing since I've been here that I know of where we've gotten second-degree amendments on every one of our amendments to avoid voting on the amendment. So we simply have done the same thing by offering a second-degree amendment to the Scott Amendment. It was offered from this microphone after I was recognized to offer it, and now they're going back on it and trying to change the rules. I, for one, won't stay here and would recommend that no Republicans stay here if we're going to have a third-degree amendment that only the...
So this turns into a
Senator Paul,
walkout.
might I suggest that we just take a moment, ask those who understand the rules of the committee to just explain it to all of us, and then we'll follow them. We don't have to escalate this to a situation where folks are walking out. We can just
Except the chairman,
folks who's explain
being
the
a
rules
little
to us,
tyrant.
and then we'll follow them. I think
Who
we
will
could
we
do
ask?
that.
Just the majority staff?
No, let's consult with folks. I mean, the rules of the committee are written down. We can follow them. I just don't think that we don't need to escalate this to become a spectacle. Everyone.
It's
can
already a
have their
spectacle by
votes and
now.
we can move forward.
Gary Peters doesn't know what to do. Wow, this is taking a long time. Hi, Chicago Mike. What's up? What's up, Selecta Boy?
Yeah, boy.
Okay. So anyway, I'm not gonna listen to silence. I'm curious. Did they end up walking out though? Peter used additional amendments to undo those offered by Paul, including one that would have made fire departments ineligible for federal grants if they fire employees for not having a COVID-19 vaccine. So, okay, so Gary Peters did not want that amendment. Now, let's see. As the Hill's Alexander Bolton noted that the acrimonious scene was a departure from how the Homeland Security Committee operated in 2021 and 2022 when Senator Rob Portman, Republican Ohio, served as a panel ranking member. In the recent past, Democrats on the committee have sometimes sat on the Republican side of the dais and vice versa to promote a sense of bipartisan camaraderie. Paul, who offered amendments on hot-button issues like COVID-19 and gain-of-function research, which he oddly tried to block via the Fire Grants and Safety Act, is a much more polarizing figure on Capitol Hill than Portman was. Well, yeah, he is. So that's the Mediaite version of this, obviously, saying that he's more partisan. But, what are you going to do? Anyway, because it sounds like it was beginning to be run more like a House committee than a Senate committee, but we'll go on from there. All right, Gunfox. Here's the let me try this link here now. And the last of the three breaking news. Oh, nope, it's also gone, Gunfox. It will not. I don't know what's going on here. It says this one's gone away too, Gunfox. So we'll figure it out. All right, we'll move on here. Thank you, Stabbing Joe Scarborough's in the house. What's up? And also with a $5 super chat via YouTube. No message, but I appreciate your support, sir. Good to have you back. All right, other news that I wanted to get to before I get into this definition of woke, because just things that are happening in the world that I think are funny. Does everyone remember Goldilocks? I mean, a.k.a. Greta Thunberg. So Goldilocks apparently deleted a 2018 tweet claiming that climate change will wipe out all of humanity by 2023. Well, climate activists. I'm sorry. Give me one moment here. I need to pause for a second. Let me mute. All right. Sorry about that. I have just something in my throat. I can't get out of there. So anyway, Goldilocks, Greta Thunberg, has reportedly deleted a 2018 tweet warning that, quote, climate change will wipe out all of humanity by 2023 if fossil fuel usage continues. The 23-year-old Swedish activist tweet referred to a grim warning from Harvard University professor of atmospheric chemistry, James Anderson, who claimed that pollution as a result of burning fossil fuels is pushing the climate back 33 million years to an era when there were no ice caps at the poles, according to Talk TV. The tweet, dated June 21, 2018, quoted an article that cited Anderson stating, quote, a top climate scientist is warning that climate change will wipe out all of humanity unless we stop using fossil fuels over the next 5 years. Now she deleted that tweet. Now, I'm going to be fair to Greta Thunberg on this, okay? Let's be fair. Here's the article. I think it's in the New York Post. I'm going to be fair to Greta Thunberg here. She didn't say, oh, next in Troll, how you doing? And Sully209, nice to have you in the chat over on Rumble. She didn't say that the world would end in 5 years. She said that climate change will wipe out all of humanity unless we stop using fossil fuels over the next 5 years. So I know it's semantic, but she still deleted the tweet because the dire predictions by the client, what's a good word for the client people who are like overselling the climate change thing and saying that, humans are going to destroy the world. The climate shriekers, I'll call them. The climate shriekers, a lot of them think that the world's going to end within the next 10 years. So AOC and Goldilocks here and whatever. So anyway, it's kind of humorous, but I'm going to give her a tiny bit of grace. Climate alarmists, thank you. That's a good one. Hucksters, that's a good one too. I'm going to give her a tiny bit of grace to say that she said the world was going to end in 5 years. She said that humanity would, climate would wipe out humanity if we didn't stop using fossil fuels in the next 5 years. She didn't mean that. Well, whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give her that bit of grace. Also in the news, let's see, I'm just going to go down the line here. Michigan judge has dismissed charges against a white couple who pulled a gun on alleged black assailants. So I don't know if you remember this gal. They got arrested. Eric and Julian Westerberg, a white couple. So who wrote this? This is Paul Joseph Watson. This is Summit News. This is Paul Joseph Watson's outlet. So they're going to be really concerned about who the race of the people in the incident are. But sometimes it has to be that way. Eric and Jillian Westerberg, a white couple who were charged with felonious assault for pulling a gun on a black mother and daughter who allegedly attacked their car in the summer of 2020, had all charges against them dismissed after their alleged victims failed to show in court. Oh, that's interesting. I suspect they feared they'd be charged themselves as they threatened, "I will beat your white ass" on video, and appeared to have attacked the Westerberg's car and refused to let them leave. Charges against the white couple stemming from 2020. Blah, 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 same. This is the exact same thing. The trial has been set for. Oh, I see. Charges against a white couple stemming from a 2020 incident in which one of them pointed a gun at a black woman and her teenage daughter outside a Michigan restaurant had been dropped. Authorities said a trial had been set on Monday for Eric Westerberg, 44, and Jillian Westerberg. Now, I don't. Why are they charging him? He didn't pull the gun. His wife did. What the hell? Oakland County Judge Mary Ellen Brennan dismissed the charges after the alleged victims didn't show up to provide witness testimony. Eric Westerberg, now 44, and Jillian Westerberg had been charged with felonious assault, a 4-year felony. Okay, I don't know if you remember this exchange. Here's the exchange they had.
Wants to violate a 15-year-old.
No, I'm asking a question. She's a child.
She bumped into me when
So if she did something wrong, she needs to apologize. If she did something wrong,
So they were yelling at her because she allegedly bumped into the child and didn't apologize. And so they're blocking them from leaving the grocery store or wherever they are, and threatening them.
Woman bumped into a 15-year-old.
Correct.
And you're on camera.
Okay.
You're feeling threatened.
Okay, well, go in.
No, Mom.
I got this.
You're blocking me from getting in my
Oh, by the way, Jillian here was pregnant at the time, too. So, look, there's one thing that I probably won't do when I see a pregnant woman and get in her face and start yelling at her, because you never know what a pregnant woman's going to do. They might just whoop your ass. If she might whip I'm 6'4", almost 300 pounds. She still might whoop my ass because pregnant women are crazy.
No, we weren't. No, we weren't. You're ignorant.
And they're saying, well, call the police then. Call the police.
She's ignorant.
And so he just says, forget it. I'm going to leave.
She's very ignorant.
Dumbass bitch. Yeah, I said it. You say something, I'll beat your white ass too.
Oh.
I will. Do something. Please put your
Do something.
hands
Do
up.
something.
Please.
Who the fuck do you think you guys are?
Who do you
Who do you think you are?
You calling her name? She did nothing to you.
Yeah,
I did it. No, you didn't. You're very
So anyway, they got
ignorant.
they get charged with assault.
No, you bumped it. She bumped into me.
Oh my gosh, she bumped into you.
You cannot just walk around calling white people racist. This is not
Hello,
racist.
Jimmy Doss.
White people
Why
are
would you
racist.
bump her?
No one's
Why
racist.
would you bump her?
I
Why did
care
you
about
say
you.
sorry?
I care
Why
about
did you say
you.
sorry?
And I'm sorry if you
Why
had an
did you say
incident that
sorry?
was made
If you
someone
bumped
make
into
you
her,
feel
why
like
did you
that.
say sorry?
No one is racist.
If you didn't do
I'm
anything, why
sorry
did you
if
do
you
that?
had something like that happen.
Ignorant.
And then, so, one of them jumps out behind her car.
Get the fuck away from me. You don't get on her face. You better get on my face right now. Get away. Get the fuck away. Get away. Get the fuck away.
Are you gonna shoot me?
Get the fuck away.
Oh.
Get away.
Oh.
Call the cops right now. Call them.
Oh.
Call the cops. Get the fuck away. Call the cops.
So they were. It seems like they were bugging for an incident, but I don't know. If did she need to pull a gun? Well, I don't know. Who knows? If they're threatening a pregnant woman, I don't know. But look, the two women who were claiming that she bumped into him didn't show up, so the Michigan judge has dismissed the charges. All right, let me move on here. First, before I do that, though, thank you, Rod Line, dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. Appreciate it. Who says, I have an idea every member of the media and government be fitted with a locked shock bracelet bracket, and the populace can set it off once an hour via online vote. Rod, that perhaps may be one of the smartest ideas that came out of the chat in the history of all chats. We should throw shock collars on everyone in Congress. That would be awesome. Good morning, GDSOB, Tex AG007, and Tyler F. What's up? And I got Next Gen trolled. All right, so there we go. Next on the news, I'm having a hard time getting to my main topic here, but I do want to get these subjects out here. Apparently, the Democrats senators are urging the Department of Justice. Okay, they're going to the Department of Justice and urging DOJ action after credit cards refuse to track gun purchases. Now, let me just tell you something. I don't believe this is a law, but here's what they're doing. Okay, Senators Bob Menendez, the very corrupt and just weird senator from New Jersey, and Pocahontas, not Pocahontas, Donald Trump. It's F-A-U-X. Pocahontas, aka Elizabeth Warren, urged the Department of Justice and the Department of the Treasury to take quick action to implement financial tracking of gun and ammunition purchases in the wake of announcements from Visa, MasterCard, and Discover that they said, go fuck yourself. No, they said they will not be tracking purchases of guns and ammunition because that's not their damn job, okay? On September 11, 2022, Breitbart News pointed out that Visa caved to pressure from gun control groups and New York Democrats agreeing to flag gun and ammo purchases via new merchant category MCC code. The Associated Press observed that MasterCard and other major credit card companies also agreed to flag gun sales. Now, notice the word they agreed to, but it's not a law. They don't have to by law. On March 2nd, 2023, Breitbart News noted that Discover was slated to begin tracking gun and ammunition purchases with the new MCC code. In April of 2023, the news created a feeling of momentum for the left, countered by a wave of pushback among conservatives. Then on March 9th, 2023, Breitbart News reported that Visa and MasterCard pivoted amidst pushback and that the two credit card giants announced they would not be tracking gun and ammunition purchases. Yeah. Well done. Then on March 10th, the next day, Money.com indicated Discover was hitting the brakes as well and would not begin tracking gun purchases in April as planned. In a joint press release, the fascist center Democratic senators, which is that redundant? I don't know. In a joint press release, Senators Menendez and Warren reacted to the credit card company's decision by urging the DOJ and the Treasury asking the government to intervene and provide guidance. Provide guidance. Hell, there's some nice companies you got there. It'd be terrible if anything happened to them. That's guidance, according to Elizabeth Warren. Guidance for financial institutions to adopt the new MCC code and track gun and ammunition purchases.
Wow.
Menendez and Warren admitted that red state pushback had caused the companies to back away from the idea, saying, quote, "This effort comes on the heels of recent developments in which Visa, MasterCard, and American Express have paused the implementation of the new MCC code because some Republican-led states are actively working to block its enactment." Yeah, because it's not a law. So they wrote, "We urge the Treasury and DOJ to quickly publish any policy, advisory, enforcement, guidance, and other materials needed by financial institutions, retailers, and law enforcement as the new MCC code is implemented for gun and ammunition stores. We also asked Treasury, that means we're going to fuck with your money, with input from the DOJ to issue guidance to financial institutions regarding circumstances that should prompt financial firms to file a suspicious activity report about transactions they suspect are related to trafficking in firearms, money laundering proceeds, and from trafficking in firearms and other criminal activity. Look, okay, if you're trafficking firearms, guess what? Most of the people trafficking firearms don't take credit cards. What the flag and flogger are you talking about? Are you serious? That's just stupid. So anyway, on August 28, 2022, Breitbart News pointed out that the pressure for credit card companies to track gun and ammo sales was not the result of a grassroots groundswell, but a campaign of Gabby Giffords' gun control group, Giffords, which was urging major credit card companies to flag such purchases via new MCC code. So anyway, long story short, the credit cards companies threw their hands up the air and said, fuck it, we're not doing it. This is too big a pain in the ass, and this is one of those things that you politically motivated jackholes need to just to stuff right up your hind parts. So anyway, so there you go. Real quick, thank you, Jimmy Dazotep, for dropping a big Hamilton in the Rumble rants today. And by the way, you can also, besides Super Chats and Streamlabs, which is P-Dog. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Silly me. I'm not in the other room now. There. Now I'm back in the other room. Besides PDogNight.live, the Streamlabs link, or YouTube Super Chats, you can also do Rumble rants. And one of these days I'll figure out how to get them out there, but they assure me that I will be able to pretty soon. Dropping a big Hamilton, though, who says, this is Jimmy Das Hotep, by the way, who says, these kinds of requests are why I don't trust government, or never will a CBDC. Good for the CC credit card companies. This is also why they hate and attack crypto so hard. FTG. Yeah, FTG to Pocahontas and the crook Robert Menendez. Is that his name? Oh, I almost said Robert Zimmerman. That's Bob Dylan. No, Robert Menendez, Senator, the prick from New Jersey. All right, let's see. What else do I have? Do I have it? There's so much today. All right, let's get into a couple trending things, and then I'll talk about what I really want to talk about today if I ever get to it. Good morning to Ryan Dale. It's nice to see you. Can these people live a month in the poorest neighborhoods their policies create without protection to understand what they cause? No, they don't, and they never have, and they never will, and they'll never understand it, and they're never going to live anywhere more than 45 minutes from the coast, and they're all a bunch of shitbags. I'm sorry. You're correct there, Tarai. All right, trending things today. One, Ron DeSantis is trending today. Now, I think it's because the main reason he's trending is because he's talking about de-escalation in the heated topic of a down drone in the Black Sea, thinking maybe we should just chill a little bit. So he's trending all over the place. Although he tends to trend every day. One of the things up here, the Daily Krasenstein, breaking, Axios has fired. What's this? Axios has fired journalist Ben Montgomery simply because he replied to a press release from fascist Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. I'm sorry, fascist Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, because calling the propaganda-ridden press release propaganda. This is an attack on free speech. Ron DeSantis' team literally got Montgomery fired for the mere action of him expressing his free speech. DeSantis is the same Republican hypocrite who repeatedly and obnoxiously claims how much he supports freedom. This is just another shining example of how Republicans support freedom only when it benefits themselves, but they also support fascism when it benefits themselves as well. I beg all my followers to please go give Montgomery a follow on Twitter to show your support, free speech, and please share this. Okay, the story on this is Montgomery, no one in the DeSantis world asked for Montgomery to be fired. Montgomery is supposedly a journalist, and Axios tends to try, even though they don't really do very well at it, try not to be, a liberal echo chamber. And Montgomery basically, Montgomery's reply to whatever this communication was, he basically called Ron DeSantis a fascist. And Axios said, that's not really in line with what we try to do here. So Axios decided to fire him. But Ed decided it's just because he had an opinion. Well, as a news organization, yeah, you can have it. Well, isn't that one of those, what do they say? What's that thing? FAFO, fuck around and find out. So anyway, they didn't like that, and they're like, no, you can't do that. Pretty wild watching every single one of these principled conservative never-Trumpers become cheerleaders for him with DeSantis lurking. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Raw story. Anyway, so this is the part, though, that people are talking about. DeSantis saying that, let's see, is this the one? This is interesting. This is Publius put out this. One of the most noteworthy things about DeSantis is his understanding of conservative principles and knowledge of the founding fathers. He speaks very naturally. Can't help being impressed about his ability to refer to the founders. So let's see what this is. This is something from his interview with Glenn Beck.
It was 2003, I think. I went to the White House. I met with George W. Bush. And I said, we were starting to be mired up in Iraq and everything else. And I said, Mr. President, he spoke very frankly with me off the record. And I said, where is this guy? Where's this guy? That's just speaking and saying this is what it is. And he talked about the responsibilities of a president. And then I said, what happens here with the next guy? And he said, don't worry. The next guy that gets in, he said he's going to sit in this chair and he's going to have most of the same people advise. And they will realize the president's hands are tied. He's got to go down this road. And he said that to kind of comfort me. And I was freaked out by him. Like, well, then what good are you? What good is any president if the same people are just running things?
Yeah, and I mean...
Oh, my God. Now, wait a minute. Before I even hear DeSantis' answer, think about what Glenn just said there, what George W. Bush said to him, and think about how disruptive Trump was when it came to that kind of, precedent. Because Obama, hands tied. Joe Biden, well, Joe Biden's not running anything. The presidency's running him. And just think how disruptive Trump was. And that's why the Uniparty needed to get him out. But anyway, let's hear DeSantis' answer.
Article 2 invests the executive power in that elected president. They don't vest it in the permanent bureaucracy, but yet this has been able to really consolidate. Why is it consolidated, though? Congress has abdicated its responsibility. Yes. They're supposed to make laws. What do? They kind of do suggestions and tell the bureaucracy to figure it out. Well, that's a transfer of power from the American people to unelected bureaucrats.
To permanent unelected bureaucrats.
Most potent weapon, what James Madison said is the most potent, the power of the purse. They pass continuing resolutions to keep the government going on autopilot. Okay, well, if you have the FBI where there's malfeasance there, you're not holding them accountable by continuing the gravy train to them.
Correct.
If there's abuse of government, the way to do it is to have the House of Representatives stop funding the abuses. They have never been willing to do that for my entire adult lifetime. And so the government just keeps going on autopilot. And founders would have said it's human. It's the deep state's not a conspiracy. It's the natural
human nature.
It's the logical culmination of human nature without constitutional constraints or accountability. Of course, you're going to have a consolidation of power. And then I think what's happened in our country, because the universities are churning out people that have the same kind of philosophical bent, they're all gravitating to be in D.C. That's why you'd have D.C. is the most democratic jurisdiction in the country, 95% to 5 in the 2020 election. And it raises huge implications for whether we're a self-governing hurting people.
So, but I don't think our
All
founders.
right, just so I'm not going to play the rest of this clip, but it's just I do like DeSantis. I mean, I don't like the fact that there's a possibility in Trump and DeSantis are going to be running in a primary with each other. And I don't know for a fact that DeSantis will, but the fact that he can articulate an answer like that with so much knowledge of what the founding fathers said and what the Constitution says, do you think, as much as I appreciate Donald Trump as president, do you think Trump could do that? No, but interesting. Anyway, but the main reason he's trending though is because of his in that interview. Oh, that's not here. Wrong one. Here we go. Let's try this. Oh, where is it? I must have moved it back here. Here it is. Now, the Never Trumpers and the neocons were a little upset with his answer to Beck about Ukraine. By the way, real quick, thank you, Chicago Mike. Appreciate the sponsorship and via Streamlabs, the PDogNight.live, who says, oh, it's Big Bullet too, aka 556. This episode of the P-Dog Night Show is brought to you by the Democratic Party and our new slogan, fuck the Constitution. Yes, very good, very good. Thank you, Democratic Party, who channeled by Chicago Mike. So anyway, here's what they're really mad about. Never Trumpers, neocons, and Democrats melt down over DeSantis' stance on Ukraine, which basically is, hey, maybe we should tone this down a little bit. Collective meltdown has ensued among foreign policy establishment after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis espoused views on the Ukraine conflict that echoed former President Donald Trump. Oh no! Their views were stated in response to a questionnaire sent by Fox News host Tucker Carlson that included 6 questions on Ukraine. Trump's views were not a surprise since he has called for a diplomatic solution in the past. In response to whether Ukraine was a vital interest, he responded, no, but it is for Europe, and said Europe should be paying more than the U.S. Oh my God, that is just terrible. God, who would have thought that maybe Europe, like the entirety of Europe, should be spending more money on Ukraine than the United States? But hey, why would we do that? Because we protect the entire world. Anyway, he also reiterated his desire for negotiations that he would lead himself and said aid to Ukraine would depend on those negotiations, while adding Europe needed to do more. However, it was DeSantis' response that sent the foreign policy establishment reeling as to whether Ukraine was a vital national interest. DeSantis said, while the U.S. has many vital national interests, securing our border, addressing a crisis of readiness within our military, achieving energy security and independence, checking the economic, cultural, and military power of the Chinese Communist Party, becoming further entangled in a territorial dispute between Ukraine and Russia, is not one of them. Oh no, the vapors. The Washington Post here's how the Washington Post, the Washington Compost, summarized the collective panic coming from Republican establishment figures in Washington. Quote, to many in the Republican Party, Florida governor has emerged as a more serious and electable 2024 replacement for Trump, but DeSantis' dismissal of Russia's invasion of Ukraine did you hear that line? DeSantis's dismissal of Russia's invasion of Ukraine as a mere territorial dispute, shorn of any vital U.S. interests, has set off panic in the GOP as well as in the conservative Russia hawk circles that once included DeSantis. Was that a dismissal or just saying, I don't know, it's not probably our top priority, but we've certainly been giving him a hell of a lot of money? Former Republican Congressman and never Trumper Adam Kinzinger, also known as one of the Lollipop Guild, expressed surprise at his former fellow congressman's response. He and DeSantis once sat together on the House Armed Services Committee. Well, DeSantis just threw in with the crazies. Talk about a misread. Okay. I'm frankly I find his response refreshing. Thank you, as an American citizen. Just watching bank failures and homeless people and the fentanyl crisis and the border, and, you know, millions and millions of people coming through the border that weren't coming through before, and, you know, just various things. And a president who thinks he can write away student loan debt with the side of a pen and can do just executive orders that probably are extremely unconstitutional. I think that maybe we should be concerning with things here more than we should give a shit about Ukraine. And maybe Europe, which is closer to you, which is directly affected by Ukraine, maybe we shouldn't be giving more than the entire rest of Europe combined by tenfold. How about that? Motherfuckers. But here's what and former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney, emphasis on former, another never-Trumper and strident neoconservative, said DeSantis is wrong and seems to have forgotten the lessons of Ronald Reagan. Really? Because remember, Ronald Reagan was kind of the guy who got all friendly with the Russian people thing, Soviet motherfuckers who could help break them up, didn't, you know, without firing a shot. Remember that, Liz Cheney? Oh, that's right. Your dad is Dick Cheney, and you're kind of in the McCain Cheney warmongering motherfuckers, the Lindsey Graham motherfuckers. Lindsey Graham, a Trump ally, also a top neoconservative in the Senate, issued veiled criticism of Trump and DeSantis' responses, saying, to those who believe that Russia's unprovoked and barbaric invasion of Ukraine is not a priority for the United States, you are missing a lot. Well, I don't know if he said it wasn't a priority. He said it wasn't a top priority. And I agree that maybe, just maybe the Europeans should have a little more skin in the game. That's my personal opinion. And of course, Geraldo Rivera said something stupid. I don't give a fuck. And other people were criticizing. You can read the whole article, but that's why he's trending. All right, James, by the way, and now just the other news. James O'Keefe launches OMG, which is a hilarious acronym for his new venture, since he's no longer part of Project Veritas. He launches OMG, aka the O'Keefe Media Group. And he put out this video yesterday.
The irony of the Acorn story is that it took a 25-year-old with a hidden camera a few days to do what billion-dollar
Hello,
networks
Annalyn.
and
Cool
journalists
Frog. What's
would not
happening?
do in a decade.
And John
I spent
Arnott.
14 years creating the most effective nonprofit newsroom
Go ahead, James O'Keefe.
this country has ever seen, and in paving the way to establish.
Wait a minute. Did you see that? Wait a minute. Let me go back. Go back, please. Go back. What was that? Is that Jesse Smollett handing him a sandwich? I think Jesse Smollett just handed him a sandwich. What's Jesse Smollett doing working for James O'Keefe? I don't know.
To establish citizen journalism, I have been defamed, arrested, raided, and ultimately.
Oh, or is that the sandwich he stole from the pregnant woman? I'm not sure. I can't decide. Was that Jesse Smollett or the pregnant woman? And then he just throws it on the floor. You dirty pig.
Removed from the organization I spent so much time developing credibility of. I always knew they would try to ruin the reputations of those who expose them, the pharma giants, the three-letter government agencies, and those who I thought
Hey, by
I
the
could
way,
trust.
good
But in
for
response,
James O'Keefe.
We are going to build an army of investigators and exposers. They have awakened a sleeping giant. I'm back. Remaining by my
All right, real quick. I'm just
side.
Let's see.
Will we
Go to the end. You can watch. I'll leave this in the links.
A founding
But yeah.
member
Oh,
today.
oh no! The hell happened there? What the hell happened there? Hang on a second. How did that happen? All my windows closed. Are you still there, guys? Okay, you're still there. What happened to all my windows? Well, anyway, guys. Hi. We had a little... That's a glitch. the fuck was that? There we go.
The irony.
Okay, shut up, James. Gotcha. That was really wild. Like, what the hell did I hit that closed every single window on my thing here? All right. So anyway, let me put the chat back up so I can talk to you guys. Give me 1 second, because I can't see what the hell y'all are saying. Let's put this chat back up here. Pop out chat. Pop out chat. Sorry, we had a little technical glitch there. So there won't be any, I won't have any more musical super chats, but that's okay. All right. Jesus, that was weird. Like, I thought I lost everything. I thought you guys are still here though. So you see me, I just don't see you. And so now you guys are back. Everything on my computer closed, but it didn't close the stream. So that's a good thing. All right. Can we talk about what we're going to talk about today? Is there anything else here? Oh, DeSantis calling for de-escalation. Yeah, there's a couple articles on him calling for de-escalation. And then, was there anything else I wanted to say before that? All right, let's get into woke, because woke is trending, and it's been trending for the last 24 hours. I'll go an extra 20 minutes or so today, or 10 minutes or so today, just so I can get through my topic that I meant to talk about for the whole show. But woke is trending because of an exchange between a woman named what's her name? Bethany Mandel, and what's the other chick's name? What's her name? Bethany Mandel and Brianna Joy Gray on a show on The Hill called Rising. And here's the exchange, because people are starting to get upset that like people like Ron DeSantis, white people, and Bethany here are using the word woke. And so she got caught up in this little conversation and had a little bit of trouble answering a question. And the leftists, the Democrats, the people who tend to be on that end of the political spectrum are just so up in arms and so just joyful that she couldn't answer the question. So we're going to talk about that today. So here's the exchange that set off the topic of woke being the topic of the day.
Of Americans consider themselves very liberal, and probably fewer of them consider themselves to be woke. And so, when we talk about traditional,
what does that mean to you? Would you mind defining woke? Because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So, I mean, woke is sort of
super liberal. I just say super liberal. But I'll give you my definition in a minute. Hello, Blue Light
This is going to be one of those moments that goes viral. I mean, woke is something that's very hard to define, and we've spent an entire chapter defining it. It is sort of the understanding that we
now notice a lot of people just stopped right there because she had to stop for a second, but she does give an answer. Here we go.
Totally reimagine and redo society in order to create hierarchies of oppression. Sorry, it's hard to explain in a 15-second soundbite.
So she didn't have her elevator pitch ready for this, but she explains it in her book and moves on. But this is
your time.
Notice, this is the clip that everyone gives. Now, there are people who gave a little bit longer clip here. For example, let's go back to oh, that's not it. What happened to it? Oh, that's the topic. This flipped. So anyway, so people are a little incensed that there's some people who are incensed that conservatives, often usually white conservatives, because black conservatives use the same terminology, are using a term that at one point was kind of only used in the black community. Okay, and originally woke kind of just implied people who see something bigger than themselves. They're enlightened, and because they're progressively enlightened, though. That's what, but sometimes when you, and I'll use this definition when I say it, people who think that they are so progressively enlightened and they've learned something new, especially young people, okay, who are just, I suppose you could call it neo-progressivism, where these super liberal ideologies that are becoming new norms on that side of the political spectrum, they're so enlightened and well known that they have no idea of what anything traditional would be. And so they think that their new progressive thing they just learned should be the law for everybody. And that's what I consider being woke is. It's neo-progressivism, okay, versus just traditional liberal, political thought. All right. Now, but not a lot of people, everyone's thinking that this, the people on the left thinks the fact that she couldn't answer it in 7 seconds was a gotcha. Okay, so this Vanguard who put this clip out, LOL, Brianna Joy Gray breaks the brain of rising guest Bethany Mandel by asking her to define wokeness. Really? Because I know some brains are broke when someone told you to define a woman, but that's a whole nother story. And then there's people, if you go down Chuck Modi, perversion of, quote, woke, end quote. Now this is, oh, by the way, some people are trying to conflate this as it being racist to call someone woke. It's just, you are just want to stand on the backs of, anyone who's marginalized. Or some people are even claiming it's a new word for nigger, the N-word. So this guy, Chuck Wood, perversion of woke is just 2023 Southern strategy. Now they're trying to diminish the use of it by making it something racist, and they're trying to make this definition so that people can't use it because they don't like it when people use some of their own bullshit against them. So he says it's the just 2023 Southern strategy explained by Lee Atwater below. If Bethany Mandel was tongue-tied, it was only because she couldn't say this out loud. And she puts a Lee Atwater quote talking about the word, the N-bomb word. All right. Now, so I want to move on to probably the best thread of this. Now, this one, woke mob, this person says, a large, well-informed group of people with basic empathy who are compassionate, committed to dismantling injustices and making the world a better place for all humankind. Now, if you think about what Bethany's answer there was, what she's saying is talking about hierarchies of oppressed versus oppressed. Well, because if you see everything in a Marxist oppressor versus oppressed view, then you're going to think you're just a large, well-informed mob or group of people with basic empathy and compassionate, committed to dismantling injustices, because everything, you define everything in the idea of there's being injustice rather than just people living, okay? Not every disparity in outcomes has to do with injustice. In fact, most disparity of outcomes don't have anything to do with injustice. They just have have to do with the differences in people in general, because of how people work, how people are motivated, how people live. Now granted, there are certainly people who started out life with advantages and people who started out life with disadvantages, but no one's stuck in their place, especially in the United States. That's the exceptionalism, as in not better, but the difference about being an American is you can be grow up in the single mom in the projects of Georgia and become the world's greatest brain surgeon, or you could grow up with a future president as your dad, somehow finding money wherever you can while you're in the government for 45 years and end up a crack addict. Okay, we don't have casts that you're permanently in. You can start up here and be dead broke by the time you're 40, or you can start down here and be a billionaire. Okay, that's the exception, as in the exception to other parts of the world where you tend to stay in the class you start in for the rest of your life. Okay, that's what American exceptionalism means. It doesn't mean that we're better than everybody else. We're just the exception to that class rule. Okay, so anyway. So there's a bunch of articles. Conservative author Bethany struggles to come up with definition of woke. Lots of people tweeting about it. Woke. Here's a former definition of it. Woke was a positive term used by folks mostly black, who wanted to be aware of things larger and more important than themselves and their own experiences, but is clearly just a slur when used by Bethany Mandel and others. There's no reason to pretend otherwise. Well, it kind of is a slur, because when I say someone's, when I make fun of woke people, yeah, I'm saying you're one of those neo-progressives who think you know everything and think you can improve the world because you're smarter than everybody, when really your ideas are nothing new and some of them are kind of stupid. And I don't buy Marxist ideology that everyone's oppressed or an oppressor. Yes, so it is a pejorative as far as I'm concerned, and that's okay. Just like you, no one's ever perverted the word Nazi and used it in a way that's not wasn't the original way either, right? Anyway, now Viva Fry came up with this one. Woke is the ideology of insincere fabrication of victims and victimhood through manufactured oppression/discrimination for the ultimate purpose of acquiring power, ding, through such victimhood and attaining undeserved social standing through faux outrage and virtue signaling. That's a pretty good definition, I would say. And then this person said, oh no, these are well-informed people who have empathy and are compassionate. Well, the answer to that, Kathy Young, who I argue with once in a while, yeah, sweetie, keep telling yourself that getting a young woman torn to shreds online and sabotaging her college education over a 4-year-old video clip, which she then, 14, used a racial slur in a rap song imitation, is being compassionate, making the world more and a better place. Yeah, see? Shit like that. I don't give a shit if some woman loses her career, or I don't give a shit if someone was singing along to a rapping song, dropped an M-bomb, when they were 14, and now you're sabotaging her entire life because of it. That's what the woke mob does. Anyway, so real quick, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Dropping a small bowl in the tip jar. It says chat poll. Okay, I'll let me do this chat poll real quick. Russell Wilson is a cuck. I think he meant cuck, and a simp for letting his wife go nude to the Oscars.
That's right.
I would divorce her and go overseas to find a younger woman in the Philippines that has respect for black men.
That's right.
Damn. Okay, what he's referring to, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, I appreciate it. What he's referring to is Russell Wilson and his wife, Sierra. Sierra, is that her name? She's a singer or whatever. They were at the Oscars, right? And basically, Sierra showed up at the Oscars basically wearing a thong and a when you go fishing and they have those big nets that have to pull the fish up in. She was basically wearing a thong and one of those and nothing else. Well, she had shoes on, but basically there was no imagination, and they were taking pictures on the red carpet and whatnot, and she's just out there naked basically. And Russell Wilson thought, hey, this is great, but my wife's out here naked. So anyway, that's what that's about. So let's get back to this woke thing, because I thought there was a really good, real quick, tweets in this. And like I said, as always, I'll have all these tweets and articles and stuff in the description below. In the one tab link in the second paragraph, I'll update that at the end of the show here during the outro. By the way, there is a new outro if you didn't notice. New visuals in the outro at least. So and this is wokeness in one tweet. Society is divided. This is wokeness in one tweet. Society is divided into oppressed and oppressors, groups along lines of race, class, gender, sexuality, etc., via 2, hegemonic power. But privileged people are blind. So 3, we need to defer to the lived experience of the marginalized. To 4, dismantle unjust systems. And they give you a list of the minoritized target group, the type of oppression, and dominant agent group. So minoritized, people of color, oppression is called racism, and the dominant group is white people. The minority group, poor working class, oppression is called classism. Middle class, and wealthy oppress the poor. A poor and working class. Really? Minority, women, oppression, sexism, oppressor, men. Okay? Gays, lesbians, bisexuals. Heterosexism is the oppression, and heterosexuals are the ones who oppress them, and so on and so forth. There's a whole list of the society divided into oppressed and oppressors. Real quick, thank you to Rydaz for sponsoring the show via Streamlabs. PDogNight.live, I should say, over there, that thing over there. Tarai says, woke mob definition is a contradictory definition. Mobs are never well-informed. Mobs are emotionally and heart-driven to force a will on a person or persons. Very good. I agree with that one, too. That's a good one. So anyway, let's see. Okay, we already got that one. Yeah, and this people are laughing. Oh, conservative commentator Bethany Mandel hits a wall. No, she actually did define it. You didn't hear it because she paused twice, but she did have a decent definition, but she can't give a definition that requires a chapter to book, a 7-second definition. All right. So anyway, now the best thread though. Uh-oh, what happened here? There we go. So here is what's happening here. And I'm not going to get to the other articles. I have a whole bunch of other articles about other stuff that if you want to check it out, you can check it out after the show. I always say, oh, I might do a show this afternoon, but I can't guarantee that. But there's a lot of good articles that'll be in the links today. But here's the one that I really wanted to get to, and we'll go through this. It's not too long, so we'll get through a bunch of it. Okay. So, someone called Woke Distance. Okay. How woke this is how to play games with words, how woke activists seek to avoid subjecting their worldview and ideology to criticism. Now, this is the thing about where these people are saying, oh, if you conservatives use woke, that just means nigger, or that just means you hate black people. What? What? Because usually people who use the word woke in this context are talking about blue-haired neo-feminists, not the feminists who, from the first and second gen or whatever wave. They're talking about the blue hairs. If you dye part of your hair blue and talk about how you can how kids can choose their gender, you're one of those woke people that they're talking about. Okay. Recently, there was another dust-up about what we mean when we talk about woke. This was sparked by a television interview where Bethany Mandel, who I consider a friend, was interviewed about her new book and was asked by host Brianna Joy Gray to define woke. Unfortunately, Bethany had difficulty giving an on-the-spot definition of the term and simply responded by saying woke was difficult to define. Predictably, this led to something of a pylon as a tweet of the moment went viral on Twitter. In short, a large number of the left-leaning accounts proceeded to say words to the effect that when conservatives call things woke, all they are doing is dog-whistling various bigoted sentiments. In other words, woke, quote unquote, is just another term that conservatives use as a slur. Here are some examples. So this is someone named Hallie says, people have a hard time defining woke without accidentally saying they want to be able to hate minorities and face any consequences. Oh, congratulations. And then Touré, who's, who can find racism in anything you say. If I said banana, oh, are you calling me a monkey, motherfucker? That's Touré. Anyway, at this point, woke is a slur. The way the right uses it is an undercover way of saying those people or non-white people. Oh, is it? No, because I say white, blue-haired, liberal feminist. Anyway, it's a polite way of saying the N-word, but in this case, the N-word includes blacks, LGBTQ folks, and other marginalized groups. Really? No. Woke applies to those who pretend to care about those marginalized groups in the quest for power. That's how I use it. And usually they're white liberal women or college professors, one of the two. Anyway, this is all part of a strategy that is being employed by critical social justice, aka woke activists in order to protect their ideology and worldview from criticism. As we will see, what they're doing isn't attempting to prevent us from giving their ideology a name or a label in order to protect it from criticism. So I'm going to explain how and why they do this and what we can do about it. Let's begin. 1. Sketching the problem. No doubt readers of this Substack have heard people who claim to fight for social justice say things like, white privilege is a product of a systemically racist social structures which centers whiteness and marginalizing people of color while reproducing white supremacy. This reinforces dominant power structures and a cultural hegemony that benefits cisgendered heterosexual white males at the expense of BIPOC, BIPOC, Black and Indigenous people of color, Latinx, and LGBTQS2 plus folks. Now, we've all seen that jargon coming from people with similar views, politics, and ideas, and all demanding sweeping social change from the left. They might be doing advocacy in different areas of society and with respect to different topics, but the similarity of the language, the overlap of the concepts, and the fact that the arguments are always concerned with oppression, privilege, systemic power, diversity, equity, inclusion, inequality, ability status, sex, race, and gender indicate that here is a clearly coherent worldview at work here. However, every time we try to give that worldview a name, they say the name we pick is problematic, wrong, incorrect, bigoted, misleading, or otherwise problematic. I know this said problematic twice. Now, many names have been tried, but every time we try to name this ideology, woke, critical race theory, socialism, neo-Marxism, cultural Marxism, critical social justice, the successor ideology, and we are told none of this is appropriate or correct. Remember? We used to call it SJWs. Remember that? We said that one too for a long time. Good morning, Chauncey, by the way. I just noticed you were here and didn't say hello earlier. So, the inability to give the ideology in question a name prevents people from being able to talk about the project of social, cultural, and political change coming from the left. They want to agitate, advocate, and demand social change without acknowledging, much less defending, the worldview at the center of their project. It's still culture. We used to call it cultural Marxism, too. Anyway, the result is that there's a large number of ideologically connected but formally unconnected social movements which all proceed from the same worldview while all denying that there is a single distinct worldview, mindset, or ideology at work. We have Black Lives Matter, defund the police, critical race theory, queer theory, aka gender ideology or radical gender theory, drag queen social hour, story hour, diversity, equity. When you hear the word equity, what do you do, class? Run. And inclusion. And a host of other social and political movements, all of which use similar language, have similar policies, similar concerns, and which work together in solidarity with each other, all while claiming that there is no underlying common worldview which can be given a label. Because if you can label it, you can criticize it. Anyways, they will tell you that they want to change society, change the world, change the culture, but if you ask them to put a name to their ideology, it always comes up empty. Sometimes they will say, oh, this is just kindness, or we call it fairness. This is absurd. Most people do not think, quote, society is constructed by systemic power, which socializes people to accept the legitimacy of a system which reproduces white privilege at the expense of POC and which needs to be decolonized in order to make space for non-binary folks when they're trying to talk about fairness. So what exactly is going on here? Well, the strategy at work is, so now I'd like to explain what I think is going on using zebras as an analogy. This will make sense, we promise. This is a good analogy, I think, too. So many animals have fur, feather, skin that blends into their environment. This acts as camouflage so they can blend into the environment and hide. This owl in this picture is a fine example. Do you see the owl? Kind of blends in there, right? So, zebras, however, are different. They use camouflage, but the way they use it is entirely different. Zebras are covered in black and white stripes, even though the environment they live in is mostly brown and green. Now, if you see a zebra by itself, it's very easy to see. It's like they have a neon sign over them saying, lions, come on, come over here and eat me. Eat me. So look at this picture below. The zebra does not blend into its background at all. Now, how does a zebra camouflage work? Well, it's simple. Zebra camouflage works by making zebras blend in with the herd so that lions can't focus on any one zebra and target it. In order for lions to kill a zebra, they need to be able to pick one zebra, focus on it, and then go after it. If the lions are unable to pick a target, then the zebras are safe. What zebras camouflage does is make the zebras blend into the herd. It makes them all blend together with each other so that it becomes nearly impossible for the lion to select any one zebra to attack. If the lions can't pick a target to go after, then the zebras are safe. And as you can see in the pictures below, when zebras are in a single herd, it becomes nearly impossible to pick out any one of them. Scientists have discovered this as they studied zebras and got confused about individual zebras. Scientists discovered this as they studied zebras and got confused about which individual zebra was which, and that happened. About which individual zebra was which, and that happened because the zebra camouflage causes them all to blend into the herd. So they tried to fix this by tagging a zebra with red paint so they could recognize it from the others and keep track of it. And guess what happened? The lions killed the tagged zebra. A tagged zebra stands out from the herd so lions can tell it apart and focus the hunt on it. The lions don't catch weak zebras, they catch the identifiable zebras they can focus on. If a zebra stands out from the herd or gets separated from the herd, it no longer blends in with the rest of the herd and it loses the benefit of its camouflage, at which point the lions can focus on it and target it and kill it. This is a great analogy for the game of woke the woke are playing. Once a worldview is named and defined, it can then be pointed out, highlighted, and subject to criticism. Once you can identify a worldview or set of ideas, you can focus on it. Naming an idea that lets us separate it from the herd of other ideas and examine it up close, the woke don't want anyone to be able to give a name or label to their ideology, because if that happens, we can tag examples of their ideology with a label when we see it. This allows us to highlight it, point it out, and examine it when we see it. We label and name things to help us tag them so we can point them out to focus on them. The woke are trying desperately to destroy all of our linguistic tags. Woke activists do not want us to be able to single out their ideas and subject them to criticism. Woke ideas really can't withstand proper rational and logical analysis. The lions of truth, evidence, logic, rationality, etc., will eat the zebras of wokeness, gender ideology, critical race theory, and critical social justice for lunch. But only if the lions of reason can focus on and identify the zebras of woke ideology. This is what the woke want to avoid. The woke think our criticisms are not legitimate and merely an attempt by us to attack them so we can hold on to power and privilege. For that reason, the woke seek to insulate themselves from our illegitimate quote-unquote criticism. So, avoid getting eaten by the lions of reason, or to avoid getting eaten by the lions of reason, the woke want to camouflage their ideology in a way that makes it impossible for it to be seen, pointed out, highlighted, or, in woke parlance, made visible. They want to hide their worldview by making it impossible to focus on and impossible to tag, label, or name so they can say they are just doing history or just discussing gender and blend in as though wokeness fits right alongside reason, evidence, logic, and rationality. We need to use labels to be able to point out and highlight the otherwise tag woke concepts so they can be seen and held up and examined for criticism. Using labels like woke, CRT, and critical social justice lets us tag woke ideas so we can hold them up to the light and examine them. Labels help us point out wokeness to other people so they can see it too. And this is what the woke want to avoid. What the woke want is to act like all the bits of woke activism we see are unconnected phenomenon spontaneously springing up forth in the name of justice in an organic and decentralized way. They want to act as though things like BLM, defund the police, diversity, equity, run, and inclusion, and drag queen story hour are diffuse and unconnected movements when in fact they are all connected by their adherence to an underlying worldview and ideology. The formal name of this ideology is critical social justice, or in common parlance, wokeness. So there you go. Thought it's a great article, and I'm going to put, like I said, I'll have it in the links. But a couple things that are in here too that are, and I'll just kind of breeze through these since I got to get out of here. So here's some examples of things that wokeness crushes though. For example, CRT's pernicious effect on scientific research. Do I need to even go into this? It's a great article, but how now basically scientific research has to, if it doesn't have a hint of wokeness to it, it's hard to get it funded, and it screws up scientific research. And you can see that one. Also, just here's another one. Kamala Harris's husband. The Holocaust and going to a school board meeting are interconnected. What? Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff told the South by Southwest conference goers on Wednesday that he believes the hate, quote unquote, that fueled the Holocaust is also found at school board meetings when parents confront leftist administrators. That's what you get when you start talking about wokeness. You got to read these articles. I got to brush through these though. Or you get something like in Minnesota where we've now passed some of these laws. Here's the lieutenant governor of Minnesota talking about children.
Because let's be clear, this is life-affirming and life-saving healthcare.
He's talking about gender-denying harm, medicalization, and surgeries for children. Life-saving and confirming. Kyle, what's happening? Nice to see you, man.
When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
So when my son told me he was Batman when he was 3, I should have remodeled the basement? Really? Oh,
that's what it means to be a good parent.
Oh, really? Really? When my son said he was a dinosaur when he was 3 and a month, I should have found some scientists to revive Jurassic Park? Yeah, is that being a good parent? When my daughter said she was a puppy when she was a child, should I have got her a dog dish and some kibbles and bits? Is that being a good parent? Good God, woman. Again, these are things that happen with wokeness. Oh, then now we're on a Credit Suisse. Okay, so anyway, there's a bunch of other articles in here today, but I'm not getting to them right now. If I come back this afternoon, I might go through some, but otherwise, they'll be in the links in the description down below, which I will update during the outro. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you today for joining me on the Morning Night Live. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button, share the stream. After the stream, let people know that you saw this. And again, if you watched on Rumble today, at whatever time you watch on Rumble, please say hi in the comment section. Just hi in the comment section so I know who drops through here. I'm just curious where all these views on Rumble are coming from, so that would be very helpful. And then also, you can sponsor the show 24 hours a day, pdognight.live. That's the Streamlabs link. Many of you sponsored the show today. Speaking of which, Gunfox61, thank you for being the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Among other sponsors today, which are Stab and Joe Scarborough, Ron Line, Chicago Mike, Black Hebrew Israelite, and Tarai Deos. I appreciate all of you. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Did I miss anybody? I hope not. Anyway, on Jimmy Das Hotep on Rumble Rants and Tall Person. Thank you guys for sponsoring the show. All those places you can sponsor the show, including Venmo and Cash App in the description down below. Okay, I gotta go. Thanks everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe back tonight. Also, don't forget, I'm also going to be a guest on Jessica Reloaded's channel tomorrow night. I'll put that information in the on the Locals channel. By the way, make sure you're subscribed to me on Local, or at least not they don't have to be a member, but if you subscribe, you'll get those notifications of what's happening when I put them out there. And also that's my version of Patreon. So if you want to support this channel just on a regular basis, you can become a member at Locals. I'm going to eventually be doing some just exclusive local streams and content over there. But I'm getting to that. Also, don't forget, I have another channel called Marty's Big Journey, where I'm starting to just load some content from all the travels I've had over the last 4 years that we've been, doing all this video for, and I haven't been putting it together. Well, I'm starting to get that put together. Probably putting out a clip every other day there. And also in shorts on YouTube, also on Instagram. Yes, that Marty is my Instagram page. So follow me in other places and you'll get more content too. So that's it. Got to go. My name's P-Dog Knight and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a fantastic day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.